Nicole James Escobar here, and I recently wrote a book that is called Death Force: Writing Dynamic Deaths in Fiction. It's available on the Kobo platform. And with this video, I want to answer a question of how do students in funeral directing school or mortician school learn how to do restorative art? Well, the school sends out this plastic skull that's about this big, probably honestly about school thing, and they send out some tools and some wax. The students, I think I had 3 restorative art classes, and through those classes they learn to build each part of the face, and it does take a long time, because while I cheated and I put out a movie and I worked on the whole face, a lot of times the students would only work on the part for the week, which is the nose or the cheeks or the mouth or doing the eye or doing the ear. I would just do the whole face, and I would put on maybe Pirates of the Caribbean and listen to the whole thing. Obviously not watching it because I'm looking at my face. But it's an interesting exercise because you're building a face with a jar of wax, and you have the basic framework, but then you have to fill out all the skin and put everything in. And a funeral school that I went to sent out a harder wax than what we were supposed to get because it was supposed to be a very soft wax, but we got the firm wax. So it was a lot more work. And when I asked for help from a funeral service pro, and he was like, "You have the wrong wax." And I'm like, "What? This is what the school sent." And I'm not an artist, so I did not do well in the restorative art classes. The students, maybe 100 years ago, had a lot more training. I spoke to one funeral director, and she said that the training for reconstructive art that used to be just for funeral directing is now more in the movie and TV industries. And after you take your 3 classes at the final thing, it's an in-person event where you take your head and you fix it up, and it's got makeup on it, and you've dressed like the neck area, and it gets graded. At least in my school, because then I was an online student. And why do people even care about restorative art? Well, there's car accidents, or maybe severe decomposition of the head where the skin might not be all intact. Might be animal attack, there might be murder. There's a lot of reasons, and it gives family the peace of mind so that they can have an open casket funeral. Because a lot of times people will just do a closed casket, or they'll be like, "No, you don't need to have a funeral because the body's in such a terrible shape." And people still want to say their goodbyes. So restorative art is important in the fact that it can bring people back. And if you look at some of the best restorative artists, they do such an amazing job at restoration. And this is definitely a skill that takes a lot of training to learn. I've included pictures in my book. I don't know if I can put them on the video. If I can put them on the video, I will. But let me know what you think. Would you also like to have your skull and some wax and do a head and see how you do? I think that they're actually available as parts on eBay or other things. You may want to try your hand at that because it's interesting. And as writers, knowing that of restorative art, the fact that there is a technique that people can have an open casket funeral with, because you have these embalmers, these funeral directors who have taken this advanced skill and developed this advanced skill. That's important to know, because when you write, even if it was a terrible accident, there is a chance that they could still have an open casket funeral. Alright, let me know what you think.